All right, so obviously when buy a home, you need to get a mortgage. I'm a big advocate of mortgage brokers. I know,
Independent?
Both. I mean, I like the mobile mortgage teams that banks have now. I mean, it gives you a little more service, but I've used independent in the past. We also have some connections at the banks now too that, for personal reasons, some people like using their bank they've been with, and it's nice getting that extra element of service. So why don't you touch on mortgage brokers for a minute, and I'll jump in when.
Yeah, well, I'll talk about it from the buying side when you're going through the buying process, and you've got a mortgage broker who's there to help you. I know that us as realtors, we're one piece of the puzzle, but you've got lawyers, mortgage brokers, insurance companies, the back end offices. You've got a lot of people. Appraisers, right? And we're all trying to work together to make this as smooth as process as possible. And financing can be sometimes the absolute biggest hurdle when you're going to buy a property, right? And
Absolutely.
so it's really important, first off, that you're pre-approved, and that pre-approval is actually, people misunderstand what a pre-approval is. A pre-qualification, you can get a pre-qualification by filling out your information online and them telling you what you can probably afford without actually qualifying that information. So a mortgage broker that's been selling mortgages for a long time is going to know the difference between a pre-qualification and actual pre-approval, saying that yes, you are approved for this amount of money, you're good to go look at properties, right?
Yeah.
And that's part of our job too, to qualify people, but I digress. To talk more about the service aspect, what we found, or what I've found is I'm very big on service, huge on service, right? So mortgage brokers, I find that are more of the independent model, whether it's independent where it's there's a lot of companies in London that aren't necessarily with the big banks that have their access to a bunch of different lenders, or even the mobile teams like that TD has or CIBC has. They're more on a commission structure. They're more motivated because they're only going to be paid on when the deal goes through. So they're more in a position to answer the phone after hours, weekends, just like we do, right? So let's say, for example, we're in a multiple offer situation and we're going in and we're already at the top of this buyer's budget, and it's 7 o'clock at night and it's hot and it's happening fast. I like the fact that I can call an independent mortgage broker and say, hey, I need some advice right now. We're gonna push this about $5,000. Can we do it or not? Let us know. Or we might want to take out our financing condition.
Can we do that?
Can we do that? Do we run the numbers? Do it quick. Let us know. What do you think? And I find, and absolutely nothing against when you walk into a branch, the in-house staff, because some are fantastic. It's just the hours of operation are a little bit different, and they get credit for the volume that goes in through the bank, whereas the independent guys are going to get actually paid only if your deal goes through. So there's a little bit more, naturally, a more motivation for that particular mortgage broker to dig deep, get you the best deal, the best rate, hope for referrals because of that.
Yep.
And
they work like we do.
Exactly.
And we know firsthand. There have been times when you're dealing with somebody at the branch and 5 o'clock rolls around, you still haven't heard from them, weekend rolls around, there's nothing, there's no one to talk to. Puts us in a tough position because our clients are sitting there and they're they're biting their nails, they're wondering what's going on, and at the end of the day, whether it's an independent from a bank or an independent within a bank, a mobile person, you got to use them. In my opinion, you can go, and if you're comfortable with the person you've worked with forever, the way I like to explain it is this. I mean, that person sitting in the branch, typically, in my opinion, my experience is they're going to make the same after 2 weeks, whether you get your mortgage or not. If you don't get your mortgage through a mortgage broker or somebody that's even paid on commission, they don't get paid, you don't get your mortgage, their business doesn't grow, and at the end of the day, that's why the service is that much better. And I know your opinion on this because you've dealt with a lot of buyers, and there's nothing more frustrating than coming down to the final day on financing and saying, oh well, we didn't see this, we need an extension, or it makes us look terrible. And then going back to the other agent, if that's a good property, they don't have to extend anything for you, so you might lose out on that dream home, right? It's very important to get that done through somebody who. And the other thing too is mortgage brokers, I found, for investing, I use independent just because they have access to more lenders. That's for investing, because I use B lenders, I use C lenders, A lenders, whatever. Somebody who's not with a bank can sometimes get a little bit more access to different lenders. If you're with a bank, they may offer you one product.
Sure.
But that's, for me, the big benefit that is mainly investing. And I like doing that with someone who has a good idea on building a portfolio, because you will get capped out at certain banks if you've got too much money lent with them. And you can build a portfolio in such a way that you can keep buying properties and keep acquiring properties.
Yeah, very, very, very good point. Yeah. So at the end of the day, And be careful too with rate shopping. I mean, I encourage people to look around for different options rate wise. But when you start going to 4 or 5 different banks, you start pulling. They pull your credit, and those are all soft hits. I don't think they're massive hits on your credit, but you don't want to be deemed as a rate seeker or a credit seeker from a bunch of different people. So
and that goes with even with the mortgage. You don't want to do that with anything.
Well, exactly. So from that perspective, yeah, you're right. There's good and bad, but I think that's why the mobile teams were created out of the banks to compete with these independent models, because
And they're doing a good job at it.
They're doing a very good job at it. Yeah.
There's a lot of great, like I love working with mobile teams from a lot of banks. I think we have a couple we work with.
Yeah.
We have a couple independents we work with, and it's really important. So if you guys have any questions about mortgages or anything like that, obviously talk to a mortgage broker. But we have great people we work with, and we would urge you to reach out to them.